Mom called me on my birthday to say she was finally proud of me. I cried. Then she added, "Your sister told me you got promoted. She deserves credit. She always pushed you." I went quiet. Then I asked one question. "Mom, what's my job title?" She couldn't answer. I hung up and forwarded one email to the entire family group chat. My phone rang at 12:07 a.m. on my birthday. I was sitting on the edge of my bed in my tiny apartment above a closed nail salon on East Colfax in Denver, still smelling like cigarette fog and guitar strings. My fingertips were raw. My amp had that faint, burnt dust smell from being pushed too hard. My band's group chat was still popping off. Tasha, drums. Birthday boy. You survived 3 Freebird requests. Iconic. Marco, bass. Also, you got the thing. Proud of you. Me, stop. I'm trying to sleep. Tasha, you'll sleep when you're dead, Adam. Then my screen lit up. Mom. My body reacted before my brain did. Dry mouth, cold hands. My heart did that dumb, hopeful skip like a dog hearing keys. I answered anyway. Hey. Her voice came in soft, almost careful. Happy birthday, Adam. Thanks. I wanted to call you first thing, she said. Like first thing wasn't midnight. I'm finally proud of you. I blinked hard. My eyes stung immediately. It wasn't even about the words. It was the fact that I'd wanted them for so long that my body didn't know how to handle actually hearing them. I covered my mouth with my hand and made a stupid sound that was half laugh, half sob. Are you crying? She asked, and she sounded pleased, like she'd done something good. Yeah, I said. Yeah, I am. I didn't think you'd ever say that. Well, she said, and I could hear her smile. Your sister told me you got promoted. My brain did a quick count. Promoted. She heard it from my sister. Not from me. Not from an email I forwarded. Not from my own mouth. Then Mom added casually, like she was talking about a new recipe. She deserves credit. She always pushed you. I went quiet. Not dramatic quiet. The kind of quiet where everything inside you turns into glass. Mom kept talking. You know, if it wasn't for her, you'd still be doing that little club thing. That little club thing is my job, I said, but my voice came out flat. I'm not insulting it, she said fast. I'm just saying, you're saying it's not real. I'm saying your sister helped you get somewhere real. And I'm proud of you for finally listening. I stared at my guitar, leaning in the corner like it was a witness. My birthday balloon from Tasha's kid was taped to the wall, already sagging. The clock on my microwave read 12:09. I could feel my brain trying to protect me by going numb. Mom, I said, very calmly, what's my job title? A pause. A little laugh, like I'd made a joke. What? What's my job title? Another pause. Longer. Adam, don't do this, she said. It's late. It's my birthday, I said. You called. What's my job title? Silence. I could hear her breathing. I could hear the TV in the background. Finally, she tried, something manager? I didn't move. I didn't blink. Manager of what? Music, she said, uncertain. Entertainment. Whatever they call it. I swallowed once. My throat hurt. You don't know, I said. I don't need to know every little detail, she snapped. Why are you being like this? Because you just told me you're proud of a version of me you can't even name, I thought. Out loud, I said, okay. She huffed. Don't get sensitive. Your sister has been worried about you. She's been helping. You should be grateful. My hands were shaking so slightly I could see it in the phone. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I hung up. Then I opened my email, found one message, and forwarded it to the entire family group chat. One email. No caption. Just facts. My name is Adam. I'm 29. I play guitar in a club. That sentence has been a fight in my family since I was 17. My mom likes titles the way some people like oxygen. She's not evil. She's just loyal to status. My dad follows her lead like it's safer than thinking. My sister, Megan, is 32 and works in corporate HR. She talks like everything is a performance review. She's the one who learned early that mom's approval is a currency, and she treats it like her job to manage the exchange rate. We grew up in Aurora, outside Denver. We weren't poor, but we lived like we could be any second. Mom clipped coupons and still bought expensive candles. Dad worked construction until his knees got bad, then did estimates from home and watched cable news like it was a sport. I was the kid who played in the garage and learned songs by ear. Megan was the kid who got student counsel and a business minor and a handshake from every adult in the room. The family language was consistent. Be practical. Don't make a scene. Be flexible. Family helps family. Opportunities. Opportunities was Mom's favorite word because it sounded generous even when it was control. I used to swallow everything. I thought it was temporary. It wasn't. 3 incidents made the pattern feel permanent. The first was my high school graduation, May 26th, 2014. I had a scholarship offer from a local music program. Not full, but enough to matter. I'd printed the email and brought it to dinner like it was proof I wasn't wasting my life. Mom barely looked at it. Megan leaned back in her chair and said, "It's cute, but what's the plan? Like after you play Wonderwall for drunk people." I said, "It's not that." Mom said, "Adam, your sister is just being realistic." Then she turned to Megan and asked about her internship. For 20 minutes, I remember counting the bites of food I took so I wouldn't say something that would get me labeled dramatic. 1, 2, 3. Chew, swallow, smile. The second incident was in 2019, when I got my first steady club residency at the Lantern Room downtown. It was a real contract, set nights, set pay. $175 a night, plus tips. 4 nights a week. I could finally stop doing random weddings where strangers asked me to make it more upbeat. I called Mom from the alley behind the club after my first night. The brick wall was warm from the kitchen vent. My hands smelled like beer because some guy had shoved a pint at me like it was a compliment. Mom answered, and I said, "I got the residency." She said, "What does that mean?" "It means I'm booked. Regular. It's steady." There was a pause, and then she said the line that still makes my stomach twist. "So, you're still doing the little club thing." I remember staring at the dumpster and thinking, okay, so no matter how steady it is, it's never going to become real to her. Then Megan texted me 2 minutes later. "Don't get upset. Mom just wants you to be stable." Stable meant like Megan. The third incident was last year, October 2025, when my nephew was born. Megan had a baby shower that looked like a Pinterest board got hired by a corporation. Mom cried over tiny socks. Dad took pictures like it was a graduation. I showed up with a handmade lullaby I recorded on my phone. Just guitar, simple. I thought it would be sweet. Megan played it out loud for a second, then smiled with her teeth. "That's adorable," she said. "But we're not really doing like phone recordings. We're trying to keep things elevated." Elevated. Mom laughed. "She's right. Maybe later you can record something professionally, when you have a real setup." I said, "It's a lullaby. For a baby." Mom said, "Don't make a scene." That's the thing. They always said it like I was the one bringing heat, even when they were the ones cutting. After that, I stopped trying so hard. I didn't announce things. I didn't share wins. I didn't send links to shows. I just played, got paid, went home, and kept my life mostly separate. But last month, something actually changed. Not in a way they'd understand emotionally. In a way they'd understand on paper. The club owner, Vince, offered me a role beyond playing, music director. It wasn't corporate. It wasn't manager of music. It was a real title in our world. It meant I booked acts, trained new players, handled set lists, negotiated rates, and maintained the gear schedule. It came with a bump. Base pay $900 a week, plus my performance pay on weekends. For the first time in my life, I had benefits through the club's small business plan. Not fancy, but real. Dental. A tiny 401k match. Stuff Mom always acted like you couldn't get unless you wore khakis. I didn't tell my family right away. I told Marco and Tasha. I told my landlord because I could finally sign a new lease without sweating. I told myself I'd tell Mom when I had the official email. When the email came, I saved it in a folder called Recaps. Because even then, some part of me knew. 2 days after Vince made it official, my sister texted me. "Megan, heard you got promoted." Me, "Yeah." "Megan, finally. What's the title?" Me, music director. Megan. That's not a standard title. Me. It is here. Megan. Okay. Just saying, for mom and dad, say it like management. Me. No. Megan. Adam. Don't make it weird. Me. You're making it weird. She called 5 minutes later. Her voice was syrupy. I'm not making it weird. I'm trying to help you. I didn't ask for help. You never do, she said, like it was a flaw. Listen, mom worries. She sees you playing nights. She thinks you're stuck. I'm not stuck. I'm happy for you, she said quickly. But you need to present it right. You want her to be proud, right? I stared at my laptop screen. The email was open. Subject line, promotion confirmation, Adam M. I said, why are you involved in this at all? She laughed. Because you're my brother. No, I said, because you like controlling the story. Her tone hardened. You're being defensive. I'm being accurate. She exhaled like she was a manager dealing with a difficult employee. Fine, say whatever you want. Just don't be surprised when mom doesn't react the way you want. I didn't reply. Then wave one hit. Mom didn't call me to ask how it felt. Dad didn't text. Instead, I got a group chat message from my Aunt Lena. Aunt Lena. Megan says congratulations. We're proud. God answers prayers. I stared at my phone. Megan was telling people before I did. Then my cousin Brandon messaged. Brandon, dude, congrats on the promotion. Ox said you're management now. Management. That word again. I didn't respond. I didn't correct him. I just saved screenshots. My thumb moved on its own. Screenshot. Screenshot. Put in receipts. Then, wave two hit. Practical and petty. The family group chat was called Miller Clam, even though half of us didn't share a last name anymore. In that chat, Megan posted this. Megan, small update. Adam got a promotion at his venue. I've been pushing him to take leadership for years, and he finally did it. Proud sister moment. I stared at the message until my eyes felt dry. My brain counted again. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. Don't answer fast. Don't give them a reaction they can label. Mom replied immediately. Mom, see? I knew you needed guidance. Good job, Megan. Dad added a thumbs up emoji. That's all he ever does when something is uncomfortable. Then Mom typed, Adam, call me tomorrow. We should talk about your next steps. Next steps. Like my job was a stepping stone to something she approved of. I finally replied in the chat. I didn't ask Megan to announce this. Megan responded privately within 30 seconds. Megan, why are you embarrassing me? Me? I didn't. Megan, you're making it sound like I lied. Me? You did. Megan, I supported you. You always act like support is an attack. I typed and deleted 3 different replies. Then I wrote, stop speaking for me. She sent, wow. Okay. Enjoy being ungrateful. That night at the club, Vince noticed I was off. He asked, you good, man? I said, family stuff. He nodded like he already knew what that meant. You want to talk or you want to play? Play, I said. On break, I checked my phone and saw an email from Vince, sent to me in payroll. From Vince K, subject, promotion confirmation. Adam M, body. Effective November 1st, 2025. Adam M is appointed music director for the Lantern Room. Responsibilities include booking, scheduling, equipment oversight, and performance standards. Compensation updated accordingly. It was clean, simple, real. And then, because life loves timing, I saw a second email in my inbox from my mom. Subject, proud of you. I opened it, and it wasn't a congratulations email. It was a list. Now that you're promoted, you should think about a real apartment. Help your sister more with the baby. Start contributing more to family events. Consider moving closer to us so we can support you. Support you, their favorite word for access. I didn't answer. Then my birthday came, and Mom called at midnight like she was doing something holy. And she said she was finally proud. And she handed the credit to my sister like a tip jar. After I hung up, my hands were steady in a weird way. I didn't feel explosive. I felt done. I opened Gmail and searched promotion confirmation. Adam M. I clicked forward. Recipient, Miller Clam. Then I added one more thing. I attached a screenshot of Megan's group chat post where she took credit. I didn't write a paragraph. I didn't explain my feelings. I just sent the email because the email had my title in the subject line and my name and the exact date. And it made it impossible for them to pretend they were proud of something they didn't even understand. That's when I stopped arguing and started documenting. The family group chat went quiet for 6 full minutes. 6 minutes in my family is basically a blackout. Then the notifications started like hail. Aunt Lena, why are we getting work emails? Cousin Brandon, bro lol, dad, Adam, mom, what is this? Megan, delete this. Megan's all caps hit me first. Then mom called again. I watched the phone ring. My brain counted. 1, 2, 3. Don't answer. 4, 5. Don't answer. I let it go to voicemail. She left one immediately. Her voice was tight. Adam, call me back. This is inappropriate. We don't put family business in group chat. Family business. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I didn't know your job title. Just optics. Megan called next. I didn't pick up. She texted. Megan, you're humiliating me. Megan, you're humiliating mom. Megan, you could have just told her your title. Me, she could have asked. Megan, she did ask. She called you. Me, she asked you. Apparently. My mom finally typed in the group chat, and everyone went quiet again, like she was a principal stepping to the microphone. Mom, Adam, why would you send that? You know your sister only meant to help. I stared at the screen. I could feel my heartbeat in my fingertips. I typed one sentence. Me, if she meant to help, she wouldn't need to take credit. Megan replied instantly. Megan, I pushed you. You admit you needed pushing. Mom added, you did need pushing. You were lost. Lost. I laughed once. Small, no humor. Then I opened my laptop. Not for drama, for clarity. Because receipts don't argue. I found the original message Megan sent me 2 days after the promotion. I took a screenshot of this part. For mom and dad, say it like management. Then I took a screenshot of her group chat post. I've been pushing him to take leadership for years. Then I opened mom's email list of now that you're promoted, you should. I put all 3 screenshots into one PDF. I named it title plus credit, receipts.pdf. Then I went back to the group chat. I didn't write a speech. I didn't call anyone names. I wrote, me, my job title is music director. It's in the email. If you're proud of me, be proud of what I actually do. Not a story you rewrote. Mom replied, don't talk to me like I'm stupid. I didn't respond. Dad finally typed more than a thumbs up. Dad, we're proud. This is just a lot. A lot meant you're making us uncomfortable by being exact. Then Mom dropped the line she always drops when she wants control back. Mom, call me privately. We won't do this in front of everyone. I looked at the chat. 32 people. Cousins. Aunts. One uncle who never speaks. My sister's husband lurking. It hit me that privately was where they kept winning. Privately meant they could deny, twist, and later claim I misunderstood. So I didn't go private. I did the controlled public mechanism. I posted one clean message to everyone. Me, this isn't a discussion. Please stop crediting Megan for my work. If you can't, don't contact me about it. Then I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb. That was the boundary. Not loud, not petty, irreversible. But they still tried to force the door open. 20 minutes later, there was pounding on my apartment door. Not polite knocking. Pounding. My stomach dropped. My hands went cold again. I checked the peephole. Megan, mom behind her, dad behind mom, looking like he wished he could evaporate. I didn't open the door. Megan shouted through it. Adam, open up. This is insane. Mom's voice slid in, sweet and sharp. We just want to talk. I kept my forehead against the door for a second and breathed. Then I spoke through the door. Calm. No. Megan snapped. Are you seriously locking your family out? You're in a hallway, I said. You're not in danger. Mom tried a softer tone. Adam, honey, don't do this on your birthday. You did it on my birthday, I said. Silence. Then Megan hissed, you're ruining everything over a word. It's not a word, I said. It's reality. Mom's voice hardened. Open the door. I didn't. I walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and drafted a short email. To Mom. To Dad. To Megan. Subject. Communication boundary. Body. I'm taking space. Do not come to my home uninvited. Do not contact my workplace. If you want to speak, it will be by email only for now. Then I forwarded that email to myself and saved it in the same folder. Receipts. When someone needs a boundary explained later, you need timestamps. The pounding started again. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I called my building manager, Carla, and said, "Hey, my family is outside my door. They're refusing to leave. Can you come up?" Carla came. I heard her voice through the door. "Ma'am, you need to go," she said. "Residents don't want hallway disturbances." Megan tried to argue. "This is my brother," Carla said. Then he'd open the door. That was it. That was the official sentence. Not from police, not from a court. From a woman with keys and authority in this building. My mom's voice changed. "This is ridiculous." Carla said, "Either you leave or I call security." They left. Not because they respected me, because someone else witnessed it. The next morning, my apartment was quiet in a way it never is after family drama. My phone had 57 notifications, but my body felt lighter. I made coffee. I ate toast standing over the sink like a single guy stereotype. I checked my email. There were 3 messages. From Dad, "Love you. Call when calm." From Mom, "I didn't deserve that." From Megan, "You owe me an apology." I didn't respond to any of them. I went to the club early. Vince was in the back office counting cash. He looked up. "Happy birthday, music director." I laughed. Actually laughed because he said it like it was normal. Like my title wasn't something you had to fight your own family for. "Thanks," I said. He tapped the printed schedule on his desk. "We're doing auditions Friday. You ready to be the bad guy?" "I'm ready to be the guy who says no when it matters," I said. That night, I played my set, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't waiting for my phone to buzz with some family verdict. At home, I got a text from my cousin Brandon. "Brandon, not gonna lie, that email was iconic. Also, I didn't know you had that much responsibility. Respect." I stared at it for a second, then typed, "Thanks." That's the thing. Some people were cruel. They were just following the loudest narrator. 2 days later, Mom tried the last tactic. She showed up at the club at 8:40 p.m., dressed like she was going to church. Dad behind her. Megan not there. She stood near the bar, pretending she was just a random customer. But she kept scanning the room like she was hunting for the version of me she could claim. After my set, she cornered me by the hallway to the green room. Her voice went soft. "Adam, can we talk?" I kept my tone even. "Email." She flinched. "In public? Really? This is my workplace," I said. "You came here." Dad looked miserable. "Son," Mom cut him off with a look. Then she leaned in. "I'm your mother. I'm allowed to be proud." "You're allowed," I said. "But you're not allowed to rewrite my life to make Megan the hero." She tried to smile. "You're being stubborn." I'm being clear. Her eyes went watery, like she was preparing to perform pain. "I called you to say I was proud and you punished me. I asked you my job title," I said. "You couldn't answer." Dad finally spoke, quiet. "We didn't know it mattered." I nodded once. "It matters to me." Mom's voice sharpened. "So what, you're cutting us off over this?" "I'm setting a boundary," I said. "No more credit theft, no more showing up uninvited. Email only." She stared at me like she'd never seen me stand still before. Then she said, almost threatening, "Family doesn't work like that." I didn't raise my voice. I said, "Access to me is not a family right." Mom opened her mouth. I held up my hand. Small motion, not aggressive, just final. "I'm not available for this conversation," I said. "Email." Then I walked back into the club, picked up my guitar case, and went to the back office to talk to Vince about Friday's auditions, like my life belonged to me. On the way home, I stopped at a 24-hour diner and bought myself a slice of pie because it was my birthday week and nobody could attach a condition to pie. I sat alone. I ate slowly. I felt calm. The moral is simple, and it took me almost 30 years to learn it. Love that requires you to shrink isn't love. It's control with a softer name. And my boundary stays in place. If you can't name my life, you don't get to narrate it.